But happy Thursday.
Yes, yes. Happy Thursday, Cheri.
Yeah,
Happy.
I didn't warn anybody that we were doing this mostly
Well,
because I
they should know.
remembered it.
All of our loyal fans, they know it's Thursday at 4 o'clock. They should be
At
ready.
3 o'clock, I went, I'm gonna go take a nap now for an hour, and then I went, oh, I got scrutiny. I can't take a nap.
Yeah, I was running around and I just got home, and I was like, "Hey, I wonder how you were doing." So
Wonder if I was remembering. Is that why you sent me that
yes,
text?
I was tempted to say, "What are you doing the rest of the day?"
I knew that was happening.
Ah, you read through the lines.
I was like, I'm just gonna milk this as long as I can, then finally. I do want to say before we start talking, because I know some people just check in at the beginning and then we lose them. Most people just watch the entire thing, of course.
Right.
But I am going to start some kind of a program to limit, or what is the word I want to use? Lessen the amount of time that I'm on social media. And I'm going to do it one step at a time. And so if anybody has been kind of feeling like they're struggling with that, we can do it together. So hang on, waiting for that.
I feel like that's a song. Right. One step at a time, or one day at a time. Anyway.
Oh, how's your week?
Huh?
How's your week been?
This has been a very challenging week. There's, sometimes you just get all the blows at once. And so that's been hard to not get caught up in, where you got to wade through the bullshit. And yet, if you don't do the things that you're working on, the positive stuff, then it's like I want to just focus on the good, positive stuff, because if I don't do that, that's the only way to fix the bullshit I got to deal with, is to have the good things coming to fruition. But sometimes it's like, God, what the hell? Like everything at once this week, where I'm just like, okay, you're screwing with my headspace here, and I'm trying to stay in the right frame of mind. Right. So it's one of those, as soon as I get I do some meditating and some reflecting, and I get in the right headspace, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'll take a couple steps forward, then just pow, there's another thing. And that's just kind of been how this week has been. And I'm just really trying to give myself the patience and the props to be like, you know what, I got a couple things done today. I just not feel like I have to get everything done right now, even though that's what I want to do. But
right. And well, sometimes it feels like, here I am manifesting all this positivity. Like, where's this shit coming from?
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I saw this thing though, this video I mentioned. I didn't tell you what he said, but I was watching this guy on this video, and he was talking about this. He said, you're doing the manifesting wrong. If you keep saying, they always say, you have to believe it. You have to believe it's going to happen. And he says, well, if you believe it, then that's hinting that there could be doubt that you could also not believe it. He says, like if I'm holding my phone in my hand, I don't believe I'm holding my phone in my hand. I know I'm holding my phone in my hand. So you have to know it. And so you have to change the mindset, because as long as you're saying, oh yeah, I believe this is going to happen, or I believe this is happening, it's no, I know this is happening. And so so that's one thing that was kind of a nice little tip to think about for people who live in that headspace.
Did you share on your page?
I did.
Oh.
I shared Scrutiny on my page, this episode we're doing right now.
That's weird, because maybe it didn't share for me the first time, because I only said one person shared, so that's why I was checking.
I see. Anyway, I thought that was a really good tip, and I've been changing the wording of the conversations in my head as much as I can, but I just saw that tip last night, so it's been less than 24 hours. That new reality.
Fresh in your mind.
Yep. How's your week going?
It's going fine, actually. I don't have any complaints. Finally, Andrew's back at his day program.
Yeah, that took a while. I mean, it seems like
anyway. He went back yesterday. And I just found today, like sitting there at work, like everybody, the kids are all getting that because it's a nice day and it's kind of getting spring fevery.
Yeah.
And the seniors are getting senioritis. And I've got retire-itis, you know.
Yeah.
And then I just felt like I don't hate my job, but I just can't do it justice anymore. And that's just really the conclusion I came to, is that I just can't, somebody new and fresh needs to come in and do this job. Because I just want to sit and hang out and talk to them. And that's really all I want to do. So
yeah, it's hard once you make a decision that you're ready to be in a different place in any form, even like you're ready to be on vacation, you're ready to move to a new location, you're ready to have a new job or whatever it is. It's like as soon as you make that decision and it's going to happen, it's hard not to get tired of the old very quickly.
the waiting is really, yeah. But it's May and it's June and then it's over. So
yeah, so
we're getting
you're
really
so
close.
I mean, you have to be down to what, 4, maybe 5 weeks.
Yeah, I need to do like a retirement calendar, that's for sure.
Yeah, I can't believe you haven't already. I know people who've had it for like
Yeah.
a year and a half, and they're just like, I'm counting the days.
You have anything going on that you want to share?
No. Trying to think about that. No, I'm meeting a gentleman tomorrow who's also a speaker in the area. And I had my podcast, that episode's going to come out in a bit. But when I was in Chicago, one of the people that was at the No Longer Virtual conference that I was at is from Texas. And he's like, oh, I need to introduce you to David. He's also in your area and doing similar stuff. You guys should meet.
Right.
So we had a couple phone chats, and he was on my podcast that's coming out in 2 weeks, I guess. But we're going to meet and have a drink tomorrow. So that'll be fun, just to kind of meet in person. And so people, we don't do that as often as would be nice anymore. And then of course, Mother's Day this weekend. Do you have any special ideas for that?
No,
A weird one, I'm sure.
need to call my mom because we were trying to figure out a day and a time. And I've got a show tomorrow night and then a show on Saturday. And here's my deal. I don't like to take my mom out on Mother's Day because I think my Mother's Day is for me.
Fair.
And it's been a rough year as far as children go, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just don't want to have to go somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to be somewhere. I want to be able to stay in my pajamas all day. To me, that's a great Mother's Day.
Yeah. Just have your day be whatever makes you comfortable and happy and feel good.
Yeah. So, I mean, not that I don't want to honor my mother, but I kind of honor her.
It is the busiest day of the year for restaurants. So it's actually the worst time to go.
Exactly. And that is the reason, one of the main, I don't want to take her out and go stand in some long ass line or.
Yeah. Right. And then also, when you go to restaurants during their grand opening or on the busiest days, you get less service, you get rushed through, you feel like you can't really hang out and enjoy yourself because you got to clear out a table for the next crowd to come in, and it just not as enjoyable.
Yeah. So I got to call my mom probably when we're done here and figure that out with her. I got her a present. So nice. So there's that. So yeah, but I do I have I've been working on this Diary of an Ex-Ho, and I've let's see, I think the one last night will come out May 31st.
Okay.
So I've got them all done up through this month.
Nice.
And then
those have been taken off. That's exciting to see.
Yeah. And then I've got an interview Saturday that I'm doing. So that'll be the first one in June.
Okay.
So that's keeping me busy because, I edit this and then I edit that. And I've done so many for that, trying to get them loaded in,
Yeah. That's with mine. I got behind by 3 episodes on the editing. I was caught up on the, I didn't miss any postings, but I got behind and all of a sudden it's like, oh crap, I have 3. I thought I had 1, maybe 2 to do. And it's like, So I have one more to edit, but I have to do an extra little thing for this one. So I need to get that one done before next Wednesday. I have 2 more to edit, I guess, because I'm recording another one Monday. So I need to get
Gotta jump
caught
on
up.
that before it gets built up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, sorry,
No, go ahead.
I was gonna just say where I'm gonna be this weekend.
Yeah, where are you gonna be?
Friday night at Chi-Town Pizza in Tacoma.
Sweet. Yeah, that's an awesome. That sounds great.
Yeah, I've never been there or anything, but it's Travis Simmons, and me, and Amanda Arnold, and she's really funny, and I'm excited for that. And Saturday, I'm doing the 5 for 5 at
Yeah,
Tacoma
okay.
Comedy Club at 4 o'clock. 5 comedians for $5.
Very fun.
Not that they're paying us $5, but it only costs $5 to go in there.
Right. Yeah. I was gonna say, wow, you really lowered your rates.
So that'll be fun. So
yeah, that will be.
Yeah, it hasn't been that long since I've done that show. So I'm going to do totally different set than what I did last time. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, that'll be good. I have 4 different things coming up that are good business opportunities, and I've been like yesterday I forced myself to follow up on 2 of them, and it's coming up to Pride season, so I'm having to organize like what events I want to try to participate in, but also having a day job, I can't always take the weekend off to do those, so I have to figure out what makes sense, and so I'm looking at that right now, but yeah, there's good stuff coming up. There is.
Sweet.
We had something you were going to research last week, and I forgot what it was. You were reading up on something.
I just told you at the beginning of this thing. It's about social media.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, about getting off of social media.
Oh yeah, I have these 2 articles, and I was like reading it, and we can just jump right into it and then see where it goes. But I just, especially when I was having a bad week recently with social media problems, let's just say. And so I'm like, really, like, I don't really need to be on it as much as I am. I am fully cognizant of the fact that I am addicted to social media, and that if I have my phone or my tablet near me, I have a hard time keeping my hands off of it. So I decided to read these articles, and I thought, then what we could do, and you can participate as little or as much as you would like, is that I think there's like these 7 steps or 7 ways or whatever. So that maybe for the next 7 weeks, we could just try one of them.
Okay.
See how we do for each one during the week, and then check in next week.
So what's the first week? First one.
First, let's just kind of talk a little bit about the effects that social media addiction has on you.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay. So it's, first of all, it's really common. They say 20% of respondents reported being addicted. I think it's much higher than that.
I would guess. So.
It's more common in women than men, and most common in young adults.
Okay.
Okay, so that was not the, let me go back to the other article because it had the better.
So there's some fun facts for you.
These are kind of like mental health articles about, you know, how it affects your mental health, and how excessive use of social media can, you know, fuel feelings of addiction, anxiety, depression, isolation, FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yeah,
if you modify your habits even somewhat, it will help your mood.
Okay. Well, and it's interesting because it teases you with the idea that you know, it's called social media. You're supposedly connecting with people, but really what more often happens is we end up taunting ourselves with what we see other people doing, and then that leads us with that feeling of being left out.
Right. Because connection with other people is really actually a good thing. I mean, of course, depending on the people, but can help like erase anxiety and stuff if you have a network of people that you're close with. And yeah, like we think it's like a network of people that we're connecting with, but
do you know what I heard the other day, speaking of connectedness related to this, is that like if it's in the, is it the Geneva Convention, whatever the war crime things are, that solitary confinement beyond a certain number of days is considered cruel and unusual punishment because connectedness is such a basic need.
Right. Yeah, so it says if you spend an excessive amount of time on social media, sadness, frustration, and loneliness can impact your life. Now, there are some positive things because you can stay, communicate with your family,
right?
Or people that live far away, and that's great. You can find new communities where you have things in common. You can get emotional support sometimes. Like when Noah died, it was very helpful for me to have people to talk to.
Yeah.
On the internet about that. And like for comedy, I mean, it's the main way, Messenger at least, it's the main way to get bookings and stuff. I do notice more producers are using your phone number now.
Oh, like texting?
And calling and texting rather than, yeah. But multiple studies have found a strong link between heavy social media use and an increased risk for depression, anxiety, loneliness, self-harm, and even suicidal thoughts. For several reasons, like you feel inadequate, you see all these beautiful Instagram models and stuff and see people's tropical vacations and I'm just sitting here doing the same thing. Like it may sometimes comparing.
Well, and it's a lot because it's not like, if you go to work and you see the 5 or 6 people that you work with and you hear about someone's vacation this week, and then a month or 2 later you hear about someone else's. When you open social media, someone is on vacation every day. So it leaves you with this idea that everybody's out there doing all these things. And that might have been the one amazing vacation that person had in a long time. It might be the vacation of a life. It might be that they go once a year or every few years, yet you see their amazing thing today. And then the next thing you see is someone else's amazing thing. And
yeah. So, having the fear of missing out can cause anxiety and make you actually use social media more because you're worried that you're going to miss out on something.
Right.
There are times on Facebook, I will say, like in Northwest Comedians, like someone will post, I need someone for this. And often if you're like the first one or one of the first ones, you're going to get that spot. Like if they have all of a sudden a need for someone.
Right.
So that can make you feel like you need to be on there all the time.
Sure.
High usage of Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram increases feelings of loneliness. And found that reducing social media usage can actually make you feel less lonely.
I wonder what's considered high usage.
That's a good question, actually. I think it says.
I know my phone does that little screen time report thing, and I have never looked at my weekly report. It buzzes like once a week and says, let's check your
really?
report.
Yeah, I don't have that.
I have never looked at it because I'm afraid to know.
Like
I know that I am on there more than I should be. And you know how I know that I've been on there too much in a particular day is when my eyes hurt.
Oh, for me, it's like when I look up to look at something out in the world and it's just blur because my eyes have been focused on the screen. Yeah. One of the articles, I think the next one that I'm going to look at talks about keeping it down to a half hour a day.
Okay.
That's like a healthy level. And it's like people are like, yeah, no.
I'm sorry. Half an hour, how many times per day?
Right. Right.
Oh no.
It's like eye-to-eye contact with people that reduces stress and anxiety, and you don't really get that
I'm so glad I have therapy on Monday. This is going to be a conversation.
And then cyberbullying, that's another thing that can really affect
Yeah.
your mental health, is if you get on there and the people are talking and saying
Mhm.
horrible things about you. The other thing, and I really struggle with this, is self-absorption. Sharing
Oh,
endless selfies and all your innermost thoughts create an unhealthy self-centeredness and distance you from real life connections. And I do think about that as a
mhm.
person who's in the public eye somewhat,
Right. Yeah.
that I got to share that kind of stuff. And then, like, if I try to limit my social media, then I end up limiting the time that I'm commenting on other people's stuff.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's not really fair to the people that are my friends that uh, look at my stuff and like my stuff every day. Like, I got to
You,
be reciprocal, or I'm
you,
just being
yeah.
self-centered.
You know what I've started doing on LinkedIn, and I was really good at it for like 3 days, maybe a few weeks, but I want to get back to it, is I would go on in the morning specifically to look for somebody else's content that I could share or comment on just for like 15 minutes. I'd be like, I'm only on here to look for things that I'm going to comment on, going to share, so that I could at least share 3 or 4 things that were other people's things. And then when I had stuff to share, I'm already doing that just on my regular thing. But I made sure that, okay, the purpose of me getting on here is to find something that worth commenting on, find something worth sharing, and not just to scroll and not just to share my thing. And getting on there with that purpose made me uh made me more efficient, because I would get on, I would get it done, and then I would hop back off. And I'm like, okay, I found 3 or 4 things. And sometimes it would be like, oh, I haven't seen a post from so and so for a while. Let me go find something recent of theirs because they're not popping up in my algorithm, or whatever it is, But
Right. Um, Also, it says having the round the clock, your phone next to you all the time can trigger impulse control problems. Because the alerts and the notifications
yeah,
constantly going on, and it can even disturb your sleep, make you a slave to your phone. It's like it says it's much like a gambling compulsion or addiction to nicotine,
okay.
alcohol, or drugs. Social media use can create psychological cravings.
Hmm. I will say I do have all of my alerts turned off.
Yeah, well, I just want all my, I don't want any volume coming out of my phone at all, because
Oh yeah, you're at work. But I
yeah,
mean, I
I
don't
don't.
even have them pop up on the screen.
Mm,
So I don't even get an alert if someone does anything on Facebook. The only time I get an alert is if someone sends me a direct message or a text.
mhm.
Those are the only 2 things that are turned on for alerts. Um, but I had to do that a while back because I was addicted.
Right. So it says when you receive a share or like or a favorable reaction, it's like a dopamine hit,
Right. Yeah.
right? And um, so the more you're rewarded, the more time you want to spend, and it's just this cycle.
And it's
Uh,
tricky because dopamine, it is a good natural high. Like, it's a good thing to have. And so how do we control that without, like, how do we get the right dopamine at the right time?
right. So many of us use social media as a security blanket. So, like when you go out to dinner by yourself, which you've got your phone to look at, so you don't look like a nerd or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Um, I'll do that, and I'm like, okay, I don't need my phone. I'm going to sit and be present in the moment, but I just feel this urge. I just gotta reach for my phone.
Hmm.
So there's the deal, and it's also if you're like a lonely, depressed, or anxious person, you tend to be using the phone to try to relieve those symptoms.
Okay.
And of course, it just it's a spiral. So we've got some, I'm not going to go through the signs that it's affecting your health, but one thing that is having no time for self-reflection. So you know how,
Mm.
like, when you're in the shower or you're driving or you're doing something mindless like that, your creativity, like I write a lot when I'm driving because
Yeah.
your mind's in that automatic mode, and you don't get that when you have your phone in your hand all the time, that time to reflect and really think about
Right.
life and stuff. All right. So the first thing, and I think that's in the other, oh no, it was this one. So number one, they say use an app to track how much time you spend on social media each day, and then set a goal for how much you want to reduce it by.
Mm-hmm.
So this is number one. This is what we're going to do. Let's see. So it
Okay.
looks like there's only 6 of them. And I just wanted to hit, because if I read all 6 of
I'm
them, then
looking to see if I have it on here, but I'm listening.
yeah. So what I did when I was researching this was I found an app that I wanted to use just to make me more mindful of being on. And this particular one that I used, you could only pick one app.
Okay.
So I picked Facebook because that's, I'm a almost 62-year-old woman. Facebook's my place, and it fucked up my phone so bad. I mean, but the point of the app, are you listening to me?
Yes, I'm listening.
The point of the app was that when you got on Facebook, whichever one you chose, it would have this screen that would come down like a swipe, and then it would say, do you really want to go on Facebook right now?
Right.
It would be like, stop and take a breath. And then it would ask you, do you really want to go on Facebook right now? And I thought, okay, that's perfect. But after using it twice, it screwed my phone up so bad that I couldn't even use it.
See, my digital well-being on my phone says that I've had 12 hours and 24 minutes today on my phone. But what's messed up about that is that 8 hours of that was YouTube, which I know was an overnight hypnosis
Oh
thing.
yeah, I'm
So I have
gonna
to
get that.
subtract that out.
Right.
So that's the thing I need to
Oh my
figure.
God, I gotta tell you, to get off the subject for a minute because of what you just said, but I was listening to this, it was like a self-esteem
Mm-hmm.
meditation thing that you're supposed to sleep to. And
Right.
and she, it's like, I go through the day with confidence. I stand with confidence. I sit with confidence.
Nice.
I lie down with confidence. And I'm like, what? And she would just kept doing that. And it was like, oh no, no.
Oh gosh.
So I will never listen to
Yeah.
that again.
I have really been enjoying listening to this Anthony guy, and his best ones I've seen have been on TikTok, which I don't want to be that much on TikTok, but then I go on there and I'll go straight to his so that I'm not scrolling, and then I'll just look through his feed. But he has got some really good tips on manifesting and on that type of thing, and you're getting to your subconscious mind to make it work for you. But he has these really good short, maybe 3 or 4 minute hypnosis where he just takes you into a way of thinking, and then just, all right, come back, you're going to have all this energy, and then pops you right back out of it. And I've been listening to a lot of those, and they feel good and feel great. And I'm like, oh, cool. I got rid of all this anxiety or these feelings or whatever I'm dealing with this week. And then it gets me okay for a little bit, but
Yeah. So I'm going to figure out how to find out how much I've used my phone this week.
Mm-hmm.
And then my goal is to reduce it by 30 minutes a day
Okay.
to start.
Do you have an iPhone or
I have an Android.
Okay, so on my Droid under settings, there's a thing called digital well-being, and that's
Okay.
where I find it.
Okay, let's see.
And boy, do I not like to look at that.
Oh, it's going to be horrible because me, like this thing is.
I did do one.
Go ahead.
So I did do one thing. I got a new alarm clock, like a separate alarm clock, so that I don't have to use my phone for my alarm.
Uh-huh.
Because what I'd like to start doing is plugging my phone in, maybe in the kitchen. I live in a studio, so no matter what, it's all the same room, but at least the kitchen's kind of around the corner and out of sight. And then that way, if I do that, I guess I could plug it in the bathroom, but I don't There's not really a good spot to put it in there. But then that way, when I lay in bed, I don't wake up with my phone next to me. I don't fall asleep with my phone next to me. Might have to use a tablet or something different
Yeah,
for my.
even one of the things said, find like a really attractive like docking station
Uh-huh.
that you just really like, so that it feels good to put your phone there. Like
Okay.
that's just like a small hint of something to do. So now that I look at this digital well-being, it's only telling me today. And so today it says 4 hours and 23 minutes, which is 59 minutes more than yesterday, but this is just for today. But I
Yeah.
do see that it has ways to disconnect, like work time, focus time. I can add things. There's a bedtime mode. So there are things that I can do just within my phone itself.
Yeah. Someone told me there was a thing like a quiet mode or bedtime mode where all of a sudden at a certain time of night your phone turns black and white to like force you to um like stop, like be aware, oh, it's that time, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
So I'm gonna kind of look deeper into this, find out what I've been running. The only thing is that I've also got my tablet, and I use, it's basically this when I'm out and this when I'm home.
gotcha. Yeah, so
I
you've got two things at
look at
play.
both of them. Uh,
Yeah, no cheating. You can't go, well, I was on my phone less because I took my tablet to work with me.
right, right.
Yeah.
All right. So, is there
I like that.
any time that you're willing to give up?
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna
I'm
try
gonna
and
give up 30 minutes a day.
yeah, oh, I'll definitely shoot for 30 minutes a day.
I think my goal really is to eventually get to the point where I look at it in the morning and I
Hmm.
look at it in the evening, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Even if
And
it's for an
actually,
hour in the morning and an hour in the evening, but none of
mhm,
this constant all day looking at it.
yeah. It's funny because I feel good like, well, I don't play video games and I don't do this and I don't do that. It's like, well, you do, they're just in a different form. You know,
Uh,
it's like me being on social media is essentially instead of zoning out on a video game or whatever. And there are things I would like to start adding in. Like I would like to be reading more. I would like to be I don't know, maybe date somebody. I mean, there's just some things
well,
I
that's
could do
one of
on
the
my
things,
phone.
the other article that I haven't gotten into, but it's very similar article. One of the things that they suggest as you go on is to add actual
Actual activity.
social interaction time with someone, one of your
Yeah,
friends or
that's a good idea.
whatever.
And I will tell you that I have had times where I have gone across the street to my watering hole and I have purposely left my phone at home. And that is very freeing to just know that I can't pull it out of my pocket. I can't check to see if somebody tried to get a hold of me, or I can't use it as a distraction. And it's also very much like if there's an emergency, like I'm just away right now. Like it sucks, but
Right. Yeah.
call
Well,
911.
look at all the years that we lived without these.
Right.
People don't realize how nice it was to go somewhere and nobody could reach you.
And to not even, I mean, do you remember the days, which a lot of people don't even remember the days, like before answering machines were a thing. And it wasn't even like you came home to a message. You just didn't know until they tried to call you again.
Right.
You know, like they could try and call your house 15 times while you're gone, waiting to see if you're home. And then it's like you
Yeah.
get home and an hour or two later, the phone rings like, oh, hey, I've been trying to get a hold of you all day. I'm like, great. And then it became this, as soon as you got home, you had to see who was trying to get a hold of you. It's like, oh, there's 4
Right.
calls now I'm supposed to return.
Yeah. It makes us beholden to other people and have to
Yeah.
explain where we are all the time. And I don't necessarily think that's a good thing at all.
Right. I am a firm believer that just because you inserted yourself into my life doesn't mean I need to accept it. And I
Right.
know people don't like that. They're like, oh, you know, you got to do this and that. It's like, well, I didn't feel like talking right now or whatever. You know, it's like you put yourself into my day. Like maybe I had other stuff going on. It doesn't mean that I don't like you or that I don't want to see you or talk to you, but
Mm-hmm. I will say that recently, a couple times, I've gotten together with an old friend of mine, Cheri,
Hmm.
and we just met at the movie theater here in Federal Way. Had a little chat before, little chat after,
Yeah.
and watched a movie together. And it did feel really good. Like today, I was like, oh, I wish I would be able to go see a movie.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I
And
went.
I forgot to tell you the last time we went, she said, is your hair a different color?
Oh, that's awesome. Well, a couple weeks ago, just spur of the moment, it was like I worked earlier on Saturday, so I was off. I worked an event Saturday, so I was off at like 7 after I did that Impactathon, and I haven't seen Joe and Tufan forever, like way longer than every
Yeah,
time lately. It's like we used to see each other
right.
at least once a week, and just with schedules and stuff, it's gotten crazy. And so it was like, hey, I am off at a decent time this weekend. What are you guys doing? And so we went to dinner and it was great. And it was just nice to catch up and visit in
Yeah,
person.
yeah. Well, and like you get ready because you're going to start seeing me a little more in the summer.
Okay.
Now we can go do our planning
Yeah.
meetings again and stuff because
Well,
I
and that's
miss
the
hanging out with you. I don't want to only
oh,
hang out with you when one of us has a
I
show or
I know,
something.
right?
Oh,
I know we need to get back to our like planning stuff. And the thing is, like for me, like I am out with out and about a lot, but not always out with like no offense to anybody I see out there, but it's not always with the people you want to see or want to hang out with, or some of the people that you're closest to. It's still hard to catch up because the times when I'm out and about, it's very spontaneous, or like, hey, it's 10 o'clock right before I go to bed. I'm going to walk the street, and I have friends there that I love seeing. This is, I would go out of my way to go see them too at this point. But
light just flickered in here.
oh,
Hi,
somebody
Noah.
somebody wants to see you.
Anyway,
Yeah,
sorry to interrupt,
but
but
yeah, but no, but it is that whole thing of like, yeah, I see a lot of people, but there's still really important people in my life that it's hard to coordinate times with.
yeah,
So,
I know.
but yes,
Now I'm feeling guilty that I haven't called my mom yet. So,
and I just have to say this story before we go too far into something different. But I texted you this, and I didn't look anything up about it. But I went out spur of the moment Sunday night, and I meet this guy at the bar, and I'm not expecting to meet the love of my life at a bar at midnight. But you never know when something's gonna connect, right? And I meet this guy and we have kind of a connection, and we're, flirting and bantering and whatever. And we text, and um he texted me or whatever. I can't remember who gave who their number first, but we did a couple texts back and forth, like just from the first message while we were still in the bar. And then he's like, well, are you gonna call me or text me tomorrow morning? And I'm like, yeah, I'll call you at 9 a.m. or whatever. He's like, oh no, I won't be up. Call me at 10:01, whatever. So at
mhm,
10:01, I call him just kind of as a halfway joke that, he's like, hey,
right.
that I call you or text you. And nothing, all day. And I wasn't hanging on it because I'm in a good enough spot with myself where I'm not like, oh my God, this is the thing. But I thought, okay, things felt like a better connection than I've had lately with things. And I
Uh,
can tell the difference sometimes between, yeah, this is just we're, being silly in the bar kind of thing. But it felt like a little better. And then sure enough, at 6:30 p.m., I get a reply from him. And I wasn't like butthurt that I hadn't heard back all day, because I thought he's probably either working or was drinking. I was like, oh, I wasn't gonna be able right away at 10 to reply, whatever. So
mhm.
he replies and says, hey Andy, I had a really good time last night and you were so nice. So I just want to make sure and tell you that I'm not on the market. And I'm like, so why did you even give me your number? You know,
Right.
and I just didn't even reply, because I was like, screw that. That doesn't warrant a response. And also, like, don't make yourself feel better like you're being the nice guy by being upfront when you already weren't, you
Mm,
know? So it's like, if that makes you feel better that you can be like, oh, you're a nice guy, so I want to let you know that I'm not. But it's like, okay, if that makes you feel like fine tonight, whatever, I don't care. And I wasn't like, oh my God, this is gonna be the one, but it would have been nice to explore. But I was just like, why the hell do I keep attracting shitty situations? So,
right. Yeah.
and the thing is, he was a good looking guy that I actually didn't feel comfortable going up to. And so I kind of was like, I'm gonna go say hi to that guy and just be like, hey, you know, who are you? And so that part of the experience was good in that I pushed through something I wouldn't be comfortable doing. I took the lead in saying hi, all that stuff, but at some point when you keep getting proven that it's pointless, it's like, why do you keep trying this? And I honestly am not going out to bars thinking I'm going to find the love of my life here tonight, because that's not where I expect to find anybody. But I also know that it could happen anywhere. So I'm not,
I met Dave at a bar.
yeah, like I'm not going to say, oh, if I meet somebody at a bar, I'm gonna be like, oh no, I can't date you because you're bar scum. So obviously I'm there, right? Like I'm not naive enough to think it couldn't happen, but I'm not thinking that's the only option. But so,
well, I'm sorry, but then he just wasn't the right one, and I know it sucks.
but
'Cause
right, I would rather know
remember,
soon.
I remember those days.
Yeah.
Do you want me to hurt him?
Huh? No.
To hurt him or burn his house down or
He
anything?
was like 6'5" too. He was a tall guy.
Ooh.
So I wasn't sure about that because I just don't know about having to get on a step stool to kiss somebody. It's a lot of labor. Like you got to haul that thing around everywhere. I'm not used to riding piggyback. Like I just don't know what the rules are for that kind of height differential.
It was so good to see you hosting open mic at Tacoma Comedy Club.
Oh, thanks. That was fun.
You did a great job. It was just fun to see you up there. I'm still laughing about what that one guy said. That I love those lines that like just strike my funny bone.
The body hair one.
Yeah, like nobody else. But it was just the fact that it was shoulder hair.
Right.
It
Yeah.
was so random that just I loved it, and it was like.
Yeah, and the thing that I like about that, like people make jokes about back hair and stuff all the time, but when you are very specific, it would be like if you said, I have hairy elbows, like it was just such a thing where you're like, oh.
Yeah, it just really tickled my funny bone. And I like even repeated it to Dave, and he's looking at me like, it's okay,
Well, and he said it.
But sometimes even my own jokes are just for me.
Yeah, but he set it up really well because he was like, they ghosted me, and my friend says, well, they found out you had shoulder hair. But
I was able to try a couple newer things, and they both did just fine. So
yeah, you had a great set.
They're staying.
I did a couple new things. My set was it was not my greatest set, but it's also an open mic. My challenge for myself was to not do any jokes I've done on that stage before. I might have done one but barely any. I think I've done the snack one there before, but I really wanted to just make sure. I haven't done that mic for a while, and I didn't want to show up. I didn't want to be the guy where you're like, I saw this guy 3 years ago and he's doing the same joke.
There was one that was there that it was like, okay, this is exactly the exact same set that I heard you do the last time I saw you, which was probably at least 6 months ago, if not.
I'm gonna guess. For the benefit of the doubt, maybe they stopped doing it for a while, and this is their first time back, so they're just doing familiar jokes just to get over the getting on stage.
Probably.
If not, step it up.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like our food is here. I heard Dave say, do you want baked beans with that? And I'm like, ooh. All right, I'm out of here. I got a little bit of everything. I got some roasted chicken. I got some chicken sliders and some brisket and some potato salad and baked beans.
God, where'd you get all this food from?
Casey Barbecue. It's right over here by my house. So they delivered it.
Yum. That sounds delicious.
Yeah.
Now I'm starving.
Seemed like kind of picnicky, barbecue-y weather. So.
Okay. Well, I love you. Have a good night. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Remember, half an hour less social media per day.
Oh, per day?
So that means just don't bring it in with you when you poop.
Okay, and I have to tell you some tea later.
Oh, okay.
Bye.
All right, bye. Let me eat first, though.
Okay.
Okay, bye.